Hi there, I'm Jarrell. I'm just making some stuff. This is my Mandocello. Let me move this guy. I've converted this from a Redding 3/4 guitar. That's a 3/4 if you're just looking at the text. And I've converted it into a Mandocello with a mandolin tailpiece and this nice floating pick guard or scratch plate there. And we've got these nice gold tuning machines up top. Now, the sound with the smaller hole, supposedly that helps accentuate the bass, but you get less projection out of it. I think it sounds pretty good, but again, I've not had someone play it for me. So what I'm doing is adding a sound port. I'm going to add that here, and the point of having that is so that the player can hear more of the sound that the audience would have. I have a hard time hearing what's going on with this guy, especially on the low string. I can barely hear that personally. It's pretty easy to hear those. But again, I would like to hear more tonal clarity because when I face it towards me, it's just, it has a pretty big sound. So I'd like to have that sound port for me. I'll be using this hole cutter. But I'm first going to start out with a smaller hole just as a pilot. So you could use some files here. You want to have some fine grit sandpaper. I've just got this old sandpaper sitting around. I'm going to pick up some fine grit later on to smooth out after I cut that hole. So you want to make sure you put on your mask. This is not an attack on your freedom. It's literally for your own good. There's a lot going on with the lacquer, the paint, the wood that's in there. You don't want to inhale any of that. Oh, maybe I'll put this on correctly. So let's go ahead and put that on. I guess we can hang out together while I drill the hole. Now, I'm a bit of a cowboy about this stuff. I could take some measurements. I think it's kind of fun to just eyeball it. Let me go ahead and tilt the camera down just a little bit now that we've introduced ourselves. I'm going to eyeball it. I think it's going to be alright. So I'm looking, I normally hold the fella like this. Might need to add some relief to the neck here. Let me see. Yeah, I might do. I might add a little bit of relief to that. We're going to start with the smaller hole just to help guide the larger bit that's on the hole cutter there. Alright. I'm just going to sort of cheat a little bit on this guy. I'm going to sort of say, let's see. You sort of get a general idea. There's the length. I'm just sort of going to measure that. I'm going to fold this guy in half. I just want to make sure my guess is pretty close here. Okay. Yeah, my guess is going to be right about there. So I'm just using this sandpaper and folding it in half just so I can sort of guess it. Yeah, I figured it'd be right about there. I'm just going to put a minor scratch there so I can see it. Yeah, that's about halfway. And again, I want to make sure that sound hole is in an optimum position so the sound comes straight up at me. I'm going to be cutting at a bit of a funny angle, so hopefully nothing weird happens, you know, but if that does, you're going to have to roll with it. Alright. Now, there's going to be a lot of, you got wood, you got paint, lacquer coming up at you. So, I'm just going to make sure I got some eyeball protection. I don't want to get this stuff in my eyeballs. And again, goggles are not an attack on your freedom. They're literally for your protection. So, nothing wrong with wearing goggles either. Okay. There we go. That didn't do too bad. That's looking okay. Now, you can see we've got a nice start. I'm going to go ahead and set this Mandocello on its stand. Let's swap out my bits here. Alright. This is a new hole cutting set. I've not used this before, so I've had one similar before, but this is my first time using this one. And hopefully I'll be filling all my instruments full of holes. I'm just so excited. I just can't stop adding holes to everything now that I've got a new hole cut set. Okay, now let's see what happens. I'm not sure what this guy's gonna do here. Could end up being a disaster, but hey, we're all here for it, I guess. Okay, here we go. I want to bring it closer to me so I can hold it and have a much more controlled pressure now. Okay, so you can see because I was holding it closer, I can sort of tense up my limbs, my shoulder, my elbow, my wrist. I can tense them up and I can have more action, so I didn't fall through and I didn't have any disasters there. So there's our brand new sound port. Okay, and I don't think that turned out too badly. Careful not to inhale any of that stuff. Now, you're going to want to be extra careful sanding this stuff back. You don't want to damage anything. You're going to want a nice, easy finish on that. I'm going to go ahead and get this guy out of the way. I always set my drills to the locked mode whenever I'm not using it. So as soon as I'm done drilling, I turn that off. You don't want to have any accidents. You can do whatever you want with your drill, though. It's your life, and I'm not going to tell you how to drill. What I'll do is I'll just roll this guy up. I'm not a scientist or anything, so I'm just gonna, first I'm gonna smoothen out the inside here, see how we do. I'll try to turn so you can see it. How about that? I want to go pretty slow and easy here. I don't want to go crazy. This sandpaper is kind of crappy, actually. It's not real great. I don't know where it came from. It was just sitting here. I'm going to go to a hardware store tomorrow probably and pick up new sandpaper that's a bit better. Anyway, you want to make sure all the rough edges are gone. You don't want to scratch yourself in any bits. You don't want any splinters, but also you want it to look pretty good. You want it to look like the instrument is meant to be the way it is. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and flip this paper. It's not real great, but it's what we got. There we go, I got a bit of a bite here. Now, especially doing this kind of stuff, you absolutely want to have a mask and goggle because you don't want to get any of these particulates into your eye holes. You're probably going to have a pretty bad time. Notice I'm moving in these circular motion. I'm not moving in an in and out sort of way, but I don't mind their burgers. They are pretty good. But if I were to move in and out like that, you would get very uneven bites in your sanding. I want to avoid that. Gee, the sandpaper is really awful. I'm moving in varying degrees and angles. I'd like to have a smooth, rounded edge in terms of curling in like that. And again, I'm going to get a better quality sandpaper tomorrow, but I thought I'd just get a start on it today. I've got a folk music club coming up in a couple days, so I just wanted to get this hole done in time. I'd like to bring us to the music club. play some Mandocello for them. Now, I don't know if you can see inside here. My eyeball armor is fogging up a little bit. I might just take a break with my eyeball armor so I can let it defog. You can see there's still some sort of, still a bit rough on the inside, still splintery. You could work on that, you know, as much as you want. I'm just going to go ahead and try and smoothen that out. Ah, mosquito. I'm going to try and smoothen that out just a little bit more, but you can get the idea. That's pretty much it. But actually, I'm just going to give this a quick test run. I don't want to touch any part of the surface while I have crumbs from the sandpaper. And I've got the wood and whatnot, because I'm going to end up scratching the varnish, so I don't want to touch any part of it. I'm actually going to vacuum this with the brush tip nozzle with my vacuum and pick up all the particulates. I want to be extra careful I don't damage the instrument and scratch it. So let's see what it sounds like. Oh, I can hear that much better. Supposedly having a sound port helps the airflow, particularly through the main sound hole. Well, I'm not a scientist, but I've read some things on the internet, so I like to take the advice of people that know a lot more than I do. And yeah, some people say that it helps the airflow overall. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the inside, but I hope you had sort of enjoyed me sharing that journey. If you have any questions or you want to ask and figure out how to do your own Mandocello, feel free to comment. And thanks for stopping by and sharing some time with me today. And in the future, I'll be uploading some videos where I will play this fella. So thanks for checking in. You take care of yourself, and we will see you around.